Hey, welcome to the podcast, Cash Flow Chronicles podcast. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate. We do this podcast live every Tuesday, 3 p.m., but you can watch it on video on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, all the good stuff. This is the official podcast for the LA County Real Estate Investors Association, where we get together every month on the second Thursday in West LA to talk about all things real estate. The reason I participate in this and launched this podcast was I get asked all the time, either how do I get started in my real estate career? How do I get started in my real estate investing? I have a job, but I want to invest real estate. Or how do I reboot my business? I've been in real estate, but I really haven't found traction. And one of the people I talk about all the time is my friend Luis Melo, who's on the call today. And the reason I said it is Luis and I used to go regularly to a meeting that goes on in Sizzler in Van Nuys. It's there every Wednesday at noon. And we met each other for a few weeks. And I remember, like a lot of us, he saw a program that somebody else was giving on land, and he took the program and jumped all in. And I think since then has created his own process, procedures, but he learned from somebody else and then built on top of that and has built a great business, both as an income source for wealth and for building future streaming income. Luis Melo, so excited to have you back again today. Thank you so much for taking time with us.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate your time, and I'm glad to be here. You know, there's so many other things that I have done in the meantime since we spoke, I think like 6 or 7 months ago. So I'm excited to share with you the things that I have and the things that I'm creating. Thank you.
And I think the thing, you and I are friends. You and I can be real together. I don't know how much, how comfortable you are sharing. But I remember when I met you, you were like, and I don't mean to put you down, but like a lot of us at stages of our career, kind of looking for the traction. Like you were working, you're doing what your manager said to do, your broker said to do, other people told you to do. And you were, getting along in business and, paying the bills, whatever. But you really didn't have that excitement and direction that you've enjoyed over the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. Describe kind of where you were when you learned about land investing in particular, and then what it was that caused you to jump in so hard right away.
I agreed with what you just said. In the beginning, I was a little bit lost in the real estate industry because there's so many revenues to do. And I also had like 2 or 3 jobs at a time. So, I was being a server, I was bussing tables, I was doing a bunch of things to provide for my family. And I started going to, my first idea was like to become a realtor, because someone told me about being a realtor and you get a lot of money. So I was like, I went ahead and I started doing my the course. It took me like 6 months to get my license. And in the meantime, I started going to events. I spent way more money than I had, about like $20,000 in debt to do the Robert Kiyosaki course. And then I started going to, massive action, like you said. I learned about mobile homes, mobile parks, for sale by owner, foreclosures, auction. I learned about a bunch of things on this course that I spent a lot of money in. But I was still not sure on what to do. I was trying to be a realtor. And I remember talking to Mark Jeffrey at the event, and he's like, I'm flipping vacant lots. And I was like, just fascinated about it. But it was another upcharge. Like you would have to hire someone else to teach you, was another $1,500 on top of $20,000. Another guy teaching. I was like, I don't have any money left. I'm broke, really. And I left like that. I started going to Sizzler events every Wednesday to talk to you guys. And I got to know more information. I was still trying to be a realtor. And this guy that was teaching land was coming to Los Angeles for one day, another $1,500. And finally, I decided to do it because a lot of you guys, you, Bill, Eddie, and Peggy, and Steve Love, they told me, hey, Luis, you should do the course. I'm like, let's do it. I did. I paid the money. I went there. And before I read the whole book, and I was ready. I was taking action. The next day, I was downloading like a ton of properties, no criterias, no nothing. I was just downloading and sending them letters. And that's how I started. Massive action.
I think that, as an outsider watching that process, you had tremendous ability. You have, great, you're very charismatic, very, fun person to be around. But what you lacked was like a clear direction, a process, a procedure, what to do. When you came back the first week after that program, you were clear on the process, the procedures. You had kind of a mentorship relationship with somebody in that program that was able to answer your questions,
Yep.
and you got into action. And if you have those things, real estate is so broad, there's no wrong niche, but that one had a clear path that you jumped on and took advantage of right away. So talk about the kind of the first stage where you started flipping land deals. You were doing direct mail to get sellers to sign with you, and then you were turning around and offering the properties. Kind of describe that process, if you would, to explain what was the investment of money and time to help you get started and launch your business.
Sure. So I didn't have enough time, a lot of time back then, because I was like working a lot as a server. So, and also trying to be a realtor. So essentially I just sent 1,200 letters and I got about 80 calls. Out of those 80 calls, I got 2 sellers. I made 80 offers. So like every single call that I got, I made offers. I had a Google virtual number. So everything would go to voicemail and I would call them back. So it would not interfere with my personal life. You know, and at the same time, when I got these 2 offers accepted, right after the contract was signed, I was putting it for sale everywhere. Zillow, Redfin, Facebook, Craigslist at a time, you know, a couple other things. And after a month and a half on the market, I think I sold about 3 vacant lots. So, you know, I got the cash, like it wasn't that big actually. I paid so much in title fees because I didn't know what to do, that I was left with like $3,000 checks. You know, but I still was in the mentality of trying to be a realtor. So I was not ready yet, Bill, to do the vacant lot full time. Even the money was coming from the land, but I was still in that mentality of being a realtor because of like the TV shows, how glamorous it is, you know, like those things. I was doing door knocking. I was spending money with it. I think after like when I quit my job as a server, after 9 months of land flipping and being a realtor, I really was like, I need to focus way more on being a land investor. And that's when I transitioned to like 80% on the land and 20% in being a realtor. And I was able to save a lot of money for the next year because I was making a lot of money on the land. And that's how it started. You know, I was able to, like, after a year and a half or maybe a year, to put a down payment on a house, you know, with my wife because of the land.
How'd that feel?
It felt amazing. I mean, I had over $100,000 in my bank account. I'm like, so crazy to think about it, you know. And just flipping land, using others people's money to buy the properties. I was able to pay all my debt on the credit card that I had to buy these courses, you know. And at some point I was like, I need to be even harder on the land. So I transitioned to like 90% on land and 10% on being a realtor. Now I am probably 97% a land investor and 3% a realtor. And I just do the deals that come up to me as a realtor. Like my neighbors, they know what I do and they come up to me and they're like, hey, can you list my house? I'm like, yeah, sure, I do. I'll do it for you.
Yeah, why not? When you have the license and that's some residual business versus the opposite, doing it. And I think the other part is, though, how clear are you? And this is, I think, the thing I want to get across to people listening. How clear are you on what you need to do to make money as a land investor versus how clear are you, other than when people call you, how clear are you on how to make money as a realtor as far as finding new business? Meaning there are people who have a clear plan.
Right.
As a realtor, they cold call, they door knock, but they do that 3 hours a day, or they do mail, they do ads. Like they have a clear plan. You're not really working that plan. You're just taking the business that comes to you.
As a realtor,
right?
yeah.
Whereas as a land investor, you know, I know it's changed a bit from where it was when you started, but how clear is your plan of what you're supposed to do to generate land business today?
That's why I love vacant land so much, because the plan, it's way higher. There's way more vacant lots than houses to be listed, in my opinion. And I'm going nationwide. I'm going Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Nevada, like you name it. I am there. Florida. So it's way easier for me to download those properties up to my criteria. Whatever the market is asking, that's what I'm focusing on. And then I just blast them text messages, emails, voicemail, cold call, letters. I do all of it. So instead of reaching out to let's say 1,000 people around my neighborhood for trying to help them sell their property, I rather reach out to 20,000 people in a month for vacant lots all over the country, because my response rate is going to be way higher and I'm going to have way more offers to do.
Well, even if your response rate is lower, you have so many more people you're chasing.
Yeah.
Even a low response rate, you'll get more responses.
Yes, sir.
And second, of the 1,000 people in your neighborhood, there's probably only about 2 million realtors attacking them also. Whereas on the land, really, there's not that many people who do this at a professional level, meaning you've met people like I have who dabble in it, play in it, get out of it, but you've really gone after it as at a professional level. So let's talk about that a little bit. When did you transition from dabbling in this, right? You started off, I know your process a little bit, you did some mailers initially, right? And then it came back. When did you go from dabbling, testing, trying, look to you have a system and you're working that system? When did it become a professional business like that?
Yeah, I think like 9 months after I quit my job, that's when I was like, yeah, I need to focus on this because that's where the money is coming from.
Yeah.
And back then I was just doing letters. I wasn't texting. I wasn't doing cold call. I wasn't doing email. I wish I would have been doing it, because I would be like in another level.
Let me just do some housekeeping real quick. This is the official podcast for the Los Angeles County Real Estate Investors Association. You can find the website at lareic.com. This is an event we hold every month on the second Thursday of the month in West Los Angeles. It's coming up. May 9th is our next one, but it's the second Thursday of every month. We get about 200, 300 people there for a lecture. We have a vendors expo before that with 50 vendors. And one of them, if you do come up and say hi to me as well, this will be broadcast after our next meeting is May 9th. So it'll be in June, but it'll be the second Thursday in June, and it's local in Los Angeles, and you can sign up for free. Just hit the register here button. It has all the details. It's in the Iman Center in West Los Angeles. Love to have you participate. Our guest today is Luis Melo. Luis Land Coach is his Instagram handle, so you can get more information there. Follow him, and he has content besides like one of the world's great smiles. Definitely a chance to follow him. And also luislandcoach.com is where he has his coaching service and some testimonials. You can learn more about his path. I know he's getting ready to upgrade that system tremendously as well. So that's where you can get him. And this is the Cash Flow Chronicles podcast. We do this every Tuesday at 3 p.m. live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then feel free to watch the past episodes as well. So Luis, let's talk a little bit about kind of transitioning into coaching or adding coaching. What's the role of you as a coach in addition to your investment business, or as part of it?
So first thing is, why did I decide to start coaching, right? Because I'm looking at markets every single day, Bill. I'm making like at least 20 to 50 offers every single day, and
well, hold on one second. Let's just stop and repeat that. You make how many offers a day?
At least 20 minimum.
Yeah. And so I think for those people who listen, think of the numbers. Grant Cardone, one of my favorite coaches, 10X, right? That whatever you're doing, if you can solve a problem if you just like 10X whatever you're doing. Right. So those you are making 2 offers a day, well, imagine you made 20 offers a day, how life would change. Well, what would you have to do to do that? Well, you have to text more, email more, mail more, call, whatever all that stuff is. He's making 20 offers. And I'm a listing agent. I get offers on my listings all the time. I get offers on expired listings. I get offers on canceled listings. So there's certain power in the activity. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but again, so you make 20 offers a day. What does that lead to?
So I'm doing between 7 to 9 deals a month.
7 to 10 to 9 deals a month. And I think the other thing I want to say about you is that I don't know that you know this about yourself, just as an observer in the business, that anything you do regularly, you get better at. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And so when somebody says, well, I don't do land because it's hard, I did 1 land. It was hard. I did 2. Then I had a probate where I had about 10 or 15 land deals, and I did them all within about a 9-month period. And in a lot of ways, if you have the right system set up, it's actually easier. In fact, some ways much easier than house deals. So now that you do 7, 9 a month, how much easier is a land deal for you than doing a house?
No, for me, it's 100 times easier than doing a house because I can make a comparable. I can make an offer amount in less than a minute looking at a property online. So it's the time that I'm doing right now that I can like just look at one property, know how much I can offer, look at the next one, the next one, the next one, and I can create also criterias in the market that I can average it out and send 2,000 offers right away, and it would take me like about 3 hours to get 2,000 offers out of the door. So it's way easier because I don't have to think about a roof, rehab. I don't have to think about it at all. I just know what the market's paying, and I know how much I can offer. And once I have a property that I have a signed agreement, that's when I'm going to dissect a little bit more to see what's going on with that vacant lot and to spend more time in it. But before, no, I'm just making tons of offers. I do have a system. I have 5 virtual assistants right now, 1 in Miami and 4 in the Philippines. And they're making calls all day long. They're texting all day long. They're calling the city to ask about the properties that we just got, about water, electricity, and everything. They're putting it for sale on Facebook Marketplace, on Zillow, landflip.com. So I did build a system that I have been using the system for at least 3 years. It's the same system. I'm just like upgrading with a couple more things every single time. We're texting about 1,000 people a day, Bill.
So let me break down a few things that you said, because there's a lot there to pack. I think when you use something that as well as you do, you kind of forget how hard it is for the average person. And I want to kind of reach out to them a little bit. So one thing you said was you make an offer and then you do due diligence. So this is, I think, one of the big mistakes people make as investors. They don't understand that you're not buying the property with the offer. You're just kind of starting the dance. You're going to start the dating process with the offer. You make an offer, you still have a chance to do your due diligence and make sure everything checks out the way you plan on, correct?
Yeah. So before I have an offer accepted with the seller's signature, I don't do much work. I just analyze the deal and see how much I can offer. After, when I have it signed, that's when we call the city, we call builders, we call local buyers. That's when we start putting more time into it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see a lot of people doing way more work than necessary before the property is under contract. And that's pretty much a waste of time, because how about if the seller says no? And all those 5 hours that you spent on that one deal, it's gone.
So you do your due diligence afterwards. What percentage of your contracts that you start do you end up closing on?
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. That's a good question. So about out of the 100% contract that I get, I would say, let's say I get 10 signed contracts. Between 2 and 3 vacant lots, I cancel because I cannot sell on the time I have. Yeah.
And so the other 7 or so you're gonna
I'm
keep.
gonna close it.
Wow. Okay. So you're and at this stage, when the number's your number, you figured out what you can close and what you can't close.
Yeah.
So there is certainly an amount of expertise. So let's go back to the question I asked a while ago about coaching. What's the role of LuisLandCoach.com in this process? How are you helping other people? What's the problem they're having that you're helping solve?
So first of all, there's so many other land coaches that they're teaching the same thing, but I don't think they go deep as I do. So, there's a lot of research that I help them. And one of the first thing is how to locate areas. I don't think people really go into that in their land coaching systems. I dissect with the person because I'm creating my course right now online instead of one-on-one coaching, because one-on-one coaching is very expensive for you, for me, on my time, and for you with money and energy. So, the first thing is find an area. And I think that's where I come the best at. And at the same time, once you find an area, I give you advices on how to reach out to the sellers. Letters are very expensive right now. They're like 70 cents a pop. So I have built ways of reaching out to the seller in a way cheaper platform, which is texting, voicemail. And we're spending about like 10 to 15 cents on each lead instead of 70 cents. So that's where I come up. This old people that are still teaching the courses, they're like, send letters, which I don't disagree. But at the same time, it's too expensive. It's too expensive to do it. So I built something different for the people that don't have a lot of money. And the systems that I have are way easier to get it done and way cheaper.
I think the thing I like about you also for somebody looking for coaching is you're a practitioner. You're doing this every day. You're not teaching something that worked in 1980 and no longer works, so you became a coach. I think you're looking to coach to bring people along with you and work with them and collaborate going forward rather than as an alternative to your failure. I'm saying because you haven't failed, you're still doing this
Oh,
at a
yeah.
really high level, and I think that's what I really admire about it. So
Yeah, and at the same time, like when I'm coaching people and they bring deals up to me, I have the funds to help them. I have someone that has the funds, so it's working together with people. They're gonna benefit, I'm gonna benefit. So I'm creating more land investors out there. There's so many areas to invest that I'm not able to do because I just don't have the time, right? Or the resources, because to train people it's really complicated as well. I have to train my VAs all day, pretty much every day, in different strategies, and we're always talking. So I think it's a great benefit to me as well. I just charge them a little amount to get the courses because I spent a lot of hours and time and energy to put it together. So I expect to get a return on it. But my return is in the long future. If you have a project that you're working on, you need $100,000 and we're going to make $200,000. I'm your guy. We're going to do it together. We're going to blast this thing to the way from start to finish.
Well, and again, I think, real estate is a collaborative business. That's why you and I talk, because I have people who need help with land and I'm not doing it. And, it's not that I don't value your service or program. I'm busy with mine and I'm really clear on what I do. And if I can help you and help you help somebody else, then we work together on something. And I know that always works out for everybody in the long run. So we're excited. So let's talk about one of the things I skipped over, and I feel guilty about it, is really before the technical activities, there has to be change in mindset. I think you described it briefly when I asked you how you got started, but let's talk about the mindset. Most people don't imagine that they can be where you are today. You have a business. You don't work anymore for somebody else. You work on your own. You bought your house. You bought a house. I know you're living a nice life. You have a wife, and I think you have a daughter. You have at least one child I'm aware of. A son. At least one picture I see posting on social media from time to time. So you have some great success from when I met you maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't know that you saw that back then. I know you thought it was possible, but you didn't see it being likely or the path to get there. How'd you go from kind of looking for that to mindset, being able to put your energy into this path that you're on today?
Thanks for that question. I got goosebumps. So from people that are watching me right now, and this is for you guys, in the beginning, I couldn't even talk over the phone. It was a struggle for me to get my information out on a call because I was not aware of how to talk on the phone. I was good at talking to people live to live, but on the phone, I was just lost. First of all, English is not my first language. So it was a big barrier for myself. So I had to train myself on that. And it was a lot of mistakes. I just was not open to failure. I had a lot of it, but I was like, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to succeed. And I'm going to succeed. It took a tremendous amount of time from me to get where I am, where I know what I have to do to achieve the goals that I have. But in the beginning, I was just lost, but I was doing the work. I was making the calls. I was downloading the properties. I was talking to sellers, even with very poor English. So I get back to my mentality that I always had, which was action, action, action. And that's what I expect from people that are trying to do my course. You don't have to know everything at once. I was doing through stages. I was like, let me do this first, and they'll send the letters. Let's see when they call. Let me do it after a call. After they call, let me make an offer. After when an offer is accepted, let me see what I have to do. So I wasn't thinking about the whole. I was thinking about the potentials, of course. I'm like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make a lot of money with land. But I was just doing one step at a time for the work.
Which is something
struggling, Bill, like one more thing. I was eating McDonald's, like the dollar menu back in 2019. They still had it. I was having that for lunch because I didn't have enough money to pay for the nanny to watch my son, to pay for rent, to pay for stamps. So I had to do something. And that was my answer.
What gave you the confidence to keep pushing? What gave you the faith or the confidence or the inspiration?
Just the deals, they kept coming.
Before that, though, before you even started, what was it that gave the confidence to even jump into this?
I think when I was reading the book about how to flip land, something clicked in my mind where I was like, okay, I can reach out to so many more people than just being a realtor, that one of them is going to accept my offer. So I think that's when it clicked, because it was the number of people and the number of offers that I could make that gave me the insight that, okay, I can make it work. It was the number.
And I think, again, as a third party looking back at you, it was really, you took action. And I think action creates some energy, and that energy then creates some confidence. That confidence gives you the ability to take some more action, and it becomes a cycle. So often people who are frustrated, depressed, stop moving, stop doing anything. And that becomes a self-fulfilling cycle of failure versus, I get up every day and go to work. I show up, I say 8 o'clock. The truth is I'm working before 8 to get started and launch my workday at 8 o'clock. I don't really have the time to sit around and whine and moan about it because I'm moving. And I think that's one of the keys, is just to kind of keep in activity, keep motion. So thanks for sharing that. Hey, just real quick, again, housekeeping. This is the LA County Real Estate Investors Association podcast. We're rebranding it as the Cash Flow Chronicles podcast. You'll see some new information on that this week. LAREIC.com is the website. And if you scroll down, we have an event every second Thursday of the month in Los Angeles. It's free. I think it's the largest event in LA. We have about 200, 300 people come and listen to a talk by an expert in the field. We also have a vendors expo beforehand with 50 vendors like me. Come down, scroll down, register here. You'll see the next episode coming up, and you can sign up. Our guest today is Luis Melo, and you can see him on Instagram at Luis Land Coach on Instagram. Best place to reach him and keep tabs of him and monitor his good looks and charm. And then also luislandcoach.com is the website. And again, he's launching a new coaching program coming up, but I really just want to reach out to him more just for the mentorship and the connection. If you have, I literally had last week an attorney say, hey, I have these small lands. What do we do with it? And so many people kind of throw them away, let them sit, and Luis is somebody who can take those lands that are in inventory and turn them into cash for your client or somebody you're working with. So he's definitely worth having in your Rolodex to reach out to. Luis, I'm so, if I say proud, it sounds paternalistic, but as your friend, I'm just so happy to see you. It gives me such joy to see you from where you started, where you are now. I'm excited to see about where you continue. Thank you for coming on today. And
so I can talk. Let me talk to you, Bill, before we hang up, on the new projects that I'm working with.
Please go ahead.
So I love the land flipping, the single infill lot, like 20 minutes from major cities, where I buy usually like for $5, $10, $15, $20,000, and I flip it right away, 30 to 45 days, and I double my investment at least. And most of the times I use the buyer's fund to do that. So I love those vacant lots. But right now, Bill, I'm going to the next level. I'm working on bigger subdivisions all over the country. I have one current in Colorado, Fairplay, where I purchased one vacant lot and I'm subdividing into 4 parcels. That one, I have submitted all the papers and everything. That one is a 6-figure profit. Plus, I get to keep one for myself, the best one. Also, I have another one in Texas. I was just there over the weekend. That one is a 200 acres. Where we're going to subdivide into about 130 vacant lots. Yeah, and I have partners on. It's a purchase price of over $1 million. We're trying to buy everything. We're trying to buy. The seller has 1,000 acres, so that's like a $4 million investment. We're trying to buy the whole thing, but we have guaranteed already on 220 acres. And also, what I'm doing, I just purchased a vacant lot in Arizona last week. I'm going to be building 12 units in it, and I'm going to be keeping for myself. Those are deals that come to me. That's because I'm reaching out to sellers. The Colorado one, I had no idea what I could do with the property. When it came back, I'm like, wow, I can do this. Let me just buy it right away and let me work on the subdivision. The Arizona one, when it came back to me, I bought it for $40,000. I could sell it right now for $90,000 if I want to build. But I have bigger ideas because I develop a mentality and I have more money that I used to have in the beginning that I can hold on to assets right now in my career. So that one as well, it's like 12 units. I can rent them anywhere from like 800 to 1100. It's going to cost me to build and everything else, but I'm calling people, getting it done. And the Texas one, I just like listen to other people doing subdivisions. I'm like, I should be doing this. And I started reaching out to sellers about 5 months ago to this area in Texas. And a month ago, 3 weeks ago, I got this contract to do this major subdivision. I brought people that I have 2 partners that have done a project in there. So they're bringing their expertise. And then I brought people with the money, with the $1 million, and we're trying to buy the rest. So, it all comes together, and, it's just doing massive action and just trying different markets. So I'm very excited to where it comes. You see this picture here, $1 million in a year. I've been dreaming about this for the past 2 years at least. And I'm finally at the point that I'm going to be able to make that a dream.
Wow.
I hope I can make this year, but I'm not sure because of this big subdivision in Texas. There's so many things that we have to do to get the sale. So it might take us about 24 months to get the whole thing done and sell all the vacant lots. But that will be like just even more than this in one project. So I'm super excited about it. So that's where you're going to get the coach. I'm not just another guy that's like talking about deals and not doing deals. I'm here, guys. My mess is my desk is a mess. I did a deal yesterday, seller finance, cheap property. I love those cheap properties, guys. I bought it for like $800. I sold it for $5,200 on terms. Can you get better than that? I have other I was checking. I have 35 vacant lots for sale, Bill, right now. Arizona, Florida, Nevada, Colorado, and Texas. So 5 states where I have these vacant lots for sale right now. I just got it last Friday, 7 vacant lots under contract in Arizona. I'm buying all of them for $35,000. I'm selling each one for about $15,000, $14,000. It's insane. But I had to push the seller because the seller called us. It was like a month ago, Bill, because he got my letter. And my offer first was like $2,500 for each lot. And he's like, I'm ready to accept. I'm like, great. I'm ready to buy it. He ghosted us for like 3 weeks. I kept reaching out to him, emails. And I told my assistant, keep bugging this guy. I want this deal. I even told him, because he was like not happy with the offer after talking to me that he was happy. I was like, hey, we can pay you more. Let's talk about it. And then he just came back to us after. He didn't come back to us. My assistant kept reaching out to him. He answered, and he's like, hey, I need $5,000 per lot. And I'm just like, I can do it. I can absolutely do it because I'm still going to make a lot of money. I wish I would have done it for $25,000, $3,000, which my original offer was. But he did his research, and he was like, for me to sell it to you, I need to sell it for $5,000 a pop. I'm like, I analyzed the deal one more time. I'm like, let me make sure I can make money on this, and I can absolutely do. So I'm like, let's do it. I got this contract signed. I sent the earnest money deposit to the escrow company yesterday, and I'm gonna be closing 45 days. I have 45 days to find the buyers. If I find the buyer for like 3 vacant lots, the whole deal is paid off, and the remainder 4 vacant lots is just profit.
Nice. And you can take your time with those because that's your asset, and you can hold out for a higher price, and you've already paid back your investment. That's fantastic.
So that's why I love vacant lots. I can multiply. I can send multiple offers. I can reach out to so many sellers. They don't have a lot of attachments to the property, And again, it's just a numbers game. I don't want to sound like cocky or anything of how many deals I'm doing, but I am putting the work on a daily basis, Sunday, Saturday. I'm always on the call, always talking to sellers, always emails, buyers. My assistants, they're working on Saturdays for myself. And I can help the next person to do what I'm doing, And if they want to go to the same market that I'm doing, it's fine. If they find them, it's totally fine because we're gonna show the seller that the prices are not where they think they are.
Right.
So we're gonna help each other. And I might connect with the guy better. You might connect with the guy better, and you might be able to get a deal. So who knows?
Well, look, you are working full time, except for when you're with your family and enjoying the fruits of your success. And so, as a friend, I like to see you do that as well. And again, I appreciate you sharing in detail what you're working on. It's very exciting. Anybody looking to relaunch their career in real estate in a niche, land is one to consider, and Luis is somebody you should talk to. Anybody who's looking to get started in a career, I think it's a great opportunity. Low cost of entry, high potential, unlimited potential, actually. And also, if you are looking to invest in the sidelines, I would talk to Luis about ways you can put your money to work for you and get passive income or build some assets in the long run, as well as they're not creating any more land here in the United States. There's a limited supply, and over time, it's held up better than the dollar or other investments. So, Luis, thank you so much for sharing today. I really appreciate your time and your opening up, so to speak, to us and sharing your personal information. And congratulations on all you've done.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your time, Bill, again. And let's work together, and let me go to one of your Thursday's event where I can speak to people and share with them what I have. I would love to be there.
Love to. Well, I'll have Lloyd, I'm sure we'll see this and reach out to you, and love to have you as a guest sometime. And for the rest of you, please come. LAREIC.com is the website. It's the LA County Real Estate Investors Association, second Thursday of the month at the Iman Center. If you're getting this via email, you already have that. If not, reach out to me. I'm at Bill Gross Probate on social media. And thank you so much for being on our call today. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.